Well, if anything, I could.
Got it.
I think we're going.
All right. Your side shot is in recover memory card mode.
Yeah, I'm saying that. No. God damn it. All right. I'm going quiet.
This week on the Media Virus Podcast, Turkish bear cub is cute as... This week on the Media Virus Podcast, Turkish bear cub is cute AF while tripping balls after eating. Wayward penis fixes running race in Colombia. Nurse fired for reporting I got patients up here blowing each other in a plea for backup. All this, more news, some other shit, a big friggin' announcement, and the inside poop that on the Wilmington indie movie scene that I screwed up and didn't give you last week on this, the 93rd episode of the Media Virus Podcast. It's the Media Virus Podcast. Let's point and laugh at the world burning around us. With executive producer Mike Latoris. We'll do an intro, we'll do an outro, and then do our wrap. BBC correspondent Stanley McFadden.
Makes me tingly in an unfamiliar way.
And the Scorpion Goddess.
I'm a Scorpio, but secretive. I just don't say a lot of shit.
And now, spreading the sage nihilism of an aged Gen Xer, your host and mine, the star of our show, the incomparable Maddie Rockdale.
I had no, but I was, I kind of wanted to, and I
Fuck it all with fucking no regrets, baby. This is the Media Virus Podcast. Welcome in. I'm Matty Rockdeft. Do we have a show for you? I don't fucking know what's going on. I tried to fix my camera earlier, and apparently this is what happens. I am now the TV, and of course I'm green. Why wouldn't you? Joining these Michael Torres, the Scorpion Goddess, Juliet Everett. On the phone is Big Daddy and the Doctor. Let's get this fucking train wreck moving. I'm not going to that fucking monologue with this goddamn shit.
So how's my sound?
How to respond to that?
Fuck you, Siri. Fuck you. That's how you respond to it. God damn it! I'm trying to change from one window to another. Siri wants to fucking. Ooh, everything is getting on my fucking nerves today. Everything, fucking everything. You know what? Fuck this shot. There we go.
I hope I don't get on your nerves tonight.
I guarantee it.
No. I'll get it. It'll be good though.
You know what, dude? It's this.
Yeah.
And it almost it.
On the bright side, for the whole Gen X crowd, you are channeling a kind of a Max Headroom kind of energy today. I like that.
Oh, you're a genius.
Yeah, that was.
This clip might work.
Thank you. Oh no, maybe it won't.
Let's see.
All right.
It's the first story, Mike.
Well, I'm thinking this might help you out. High on mad honey, a disoriented bear cub has been rescued in northwest Turkey. Istanbul on the 11th of August. According to Reuters, a disoriented brown bear cub believed to have been intoxicated after eating an excessive amount of mad honey was rescued in northwestern Turkey's Duz province on Thursday.
The douche province.
Yeah.
What is mad honey? Do we have an idea of what that is?
I'm coming around to that right now. Footage showed the bear wobbling and whining as she sat belly up in the back of a pickup truck after people rescued the visibly debilitated animal from the forest. Mad honey, or deli bal in Turkish, is a type of rhododendron honey that can have hallucinogenic effects. The bear was brought to a vet where she was receiving treatment and would likely be released into the wild in the coming days, according to local authorities, adding that she was in good condition.
So the bear was tripping balls, and we saved it.
Yep.
From what? Tripping balls?
From hurting herself, basically.
Like You think this was the first time she fucking tripped balls? You think she's the only bear in that forest to trip balls on Mad Honey? You don't think every bear in that forest knows exactly who the dealer is?
Well, I'm pretty sure, but she was a young bear, so she may have been a little screwed out on her own there. So there is some video, and you can tell she's pretty lit. Come on.
Bears are going to be the theme of every story for the month.
And she just
He's just chilling. He's like, fucking cool, man. He's like, yo, fire up this generator. Let's get some exhaust going.
look.
Do they just have cuter bears in Europe? Or is that is it just me, or is that an Italian bear because he's wearing the wife beater shirt?
It's a female, actually.
Oh, damn, that takes all the funny away.
But she's pretty cooked, man. She's just like,
yeah.
Well,
Oh my god.
I wonder what a hallucinogenic trip is like for a bear.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Oh, well, she seemed okay.
Yeah.
Like she just seemed like she was gonna just chill for a little while, and then she'd have been fine.
Definitely gonna chill for a little while.
You know, I'll never forget one of the most traumatic experiences I ever had, and this was a video, and it's like, oh, check out this video of a cat on LSD.
Oh no.
And you think that's going to be some funny shit, and it's not. It is not funny at all. Because the cat barely moves. They're like frozen, and they just rock back and forth. It's like a really, really, really creepy fucking thing.
Was the cat okay after?
I mean, I didn't do a bunch of follow-up.
Yeah, I always do.
You know, back in 2006, you could go on the internet and see a beheading. I mean, the internet was a lawless place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was all kinds of stuff going on.
What?
I saw a guy blow his brains out recently on online.
No, we saw that on broadcast television when we were kids.
That's right. That's Bud Dwyer.
Bud Dwyer, right here in Philadelphia.
Yeah. The filter song. The filter song. Hey man, nice shot. Is about Bud Dwyer. I'm not even joking. They literally wrote that song about Bud Dwyer.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, we have that clip at the ready, and anytime anybody ever mentions it, we play it. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks. I do not have the Bud Dwyer clip.
No, why would we? It was terrible.
We did play it once.
Yes, we did.
I forget.
Go back and see that.
I don't remember who we explained that to, but it did.
It was me. It was probably me because I was like, "What's that?" Huh. Yeah.
Bud Dwyer, who's that?
This is why we as a generation are so messed up in the head, because we saw things like this live. We had teachers roll in the television so that we could watch the Challenger blow up on real time.
Right.
Like,
was it
that front row, the tragedy after tragedy after tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Our parents, they had to deal with Kennedy getting shot, right? And then they saw after that they saw Oswald. You know, they were afraid to turn the fucking TV off for 30 years, and they're like, "Oh, something's gonna happen. Better roll this up in front of the kids."
We better bring the kids out here to watch them. How much people die?
I remember in 6th grade they stopped class to watch the Twin Towers fall, so that's what we did in school that day. But I think I might have said this before to you guys, but that morning when I left to school, I told my mom I can't go to school today because something bad was going to happen with the sky. And she was like, "What are you talking about? Go to school." And then I left to go to the bus stop, and I looked up at the sky and I looked at the clouds, and I was like, something is wrong. And then about an hour later, they were like, "We're stopping classes. The Twin Towers got hit." And I was like, "What?" And then we watched the news.
So 9/11, I'll never forget. My friend's mom worked for Cantor Fitzgerald, which was the floor above where the first plane hit. And I called him as soon as I heard the news. He couldn't get a hold of his mother, but then he finally did get a hold of his mother. And the only reason that his mother wasn't at work was because September 11th was her birthday. And
Wow.
her friends had taken her out to breakfast, and she was stepping off the train when all of her friends died. Like all the other people that she worked with died. And I went over to his house and we're waiting. And I had this really good hash. And me and him were smoking hash. And then his aunt walked in, and his aunt wasn't his his aunt wasn't his mom's twin sister, but they were only what we call Irish twins. You familiar with the phrase?
Yeah.
And they looked very similar. When she walked in, we were like just kind of frozen because one, she was supposed to be stuck in New York,
right?
And two, we were high on hash, so there was the Tool thing. Like we weren't expecting her.
So,
but also,
when you smoke hash, were you using a pipe and smoking it on another substrate, or did you get the phone book out and put it on a pinhead and light it under a glass and suck the smoke out with a straw?
So it was a pinhead and a cob.
Okay.
And you would just, we didn't do anything else but burn the hash inside the glass, and then that's the important part of the story.
Many
obviously
many moons ago we had to teach my son-in-law.
I love when people say many moons ago. That's one of my favorite phrases, and I wish I used it. Oh.
We had my son-in-law came home. He's like, hey, I went to get some pot, and the guy had some hash that he hooked me up with, but I don't know how to smoke hash. I'd never had it before. My wife's like, go get a pint glass, the sewing kit, and the phone book. and he turned around. He's like, I was talking to Mike. She said, it doesn't matter. Go get a pint glass, the sewing kit, and the phone book.
Speaking as someone who's met your wife, that story is way funnier if a person has met your wife.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. But what's funny is that's exactly how I had acquired the hash. Was my buddy went and bought a QP. Right. And he would do this every couple of months. He'd go buy a quarter pound. And what we would do is we would take it. It would be in his big Ziploc bag, and the Ziploc bag would be like stuffed to the brim, like one of those big gallon bags. Right.
Yep.
And what we would do is we would stick it way on the other side of the room and then sit way on the other side of the room, and it looked like a dime bag. And we just giggled. We were high, obviously. He went and bought this QP. So the dealer was like, "Hey, you want some hash?" And Jeff my buddy was like, "No, I don't. I don't even know what. No." He's like, "I don't like a hash." And he's like, "Here, take it." He gave him a brick, dude, like this.
Whoa!
Like it was a brick of a fucking brick. And that thing lasted me like a year.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, you don't need a lot.
No, just a little dab will do you. Hot knives will work.
Yep.
Yeah. Hash lessons in the media virus. How to do drugs. Do they even make hash anymore? Or is it's all shattered now?
No, it's there. It's bigger in Europe. Flowers, not a big thing in like Britain and Europe, where hash is more the thing that they do. It's easier to move around.
Yeah.
I don't think I've smoked hash since like 2010.
Yeah, I haven't seen hash. I haven't
even heard anyone mention it like in such a long time. I
think that's one of the laments of legalized marijuana, or the decriminalization and the flowering of cannabis, is one, you don't see a lot of hash come around anymore.
And
but two, it's almost taken the communal aspect out of it. Like everybody's got their own weed, so it's not like sharing weed is.
You don't have to go hook up with somebody.
Like you don't have to it's no longer a communal thing. This is something people do by themselves.
Yep.
And I think that's a great disservice to weed.
Absolutely.
I think the reason
I agree with that.
I think the reason it smells so bad is so your friends can smell you smoking it. Right? Like that's
hey,
Maddie,
Maddie's got some. Yeah, Maddie's holding.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I saw a tweet. Somebody said something like, "How come when you smoke weed, it's not funny anymore, and all you get is like paranoid?" And I was like, "Yo, that's why I stopped smoking." And I don't know. I just noticed not a lot of people when they smoke, they're like, "Ho ho ho," like laughing, and I don't know. That's just
Because
kind of
everybody got to this
weird.
point where they were looking for really high THC concentration indica, and it becomes a problem.
It just makes you
I
sleepy.
can't.
I mean, when
I
we were
can't smoke
getting,
anymore.
like, back in the day when I started getting weed, it like sometimes you'd get some nice sensimilla from somebody. Sometimes you get a nice indica. Sometimes you get a great sativa that you could blow half a joint and cut the grass and paint the house and wash the windows. And
But most of the time, you had to smoke 4 joints to catch a buzz.
sometimes
That was the point, though. Like,
because you were smoking Reggie.
right? Like, there's no such thing as Reggie's anymore.
yeah, like there's no middies. There's no it's
It's like
in high school it was like, oh, we just got some mids. You got like fucking seeds and shit in the bag. But I don't know. I used to like smoking mids and Reggies and all that because I'd be laughing, and now I'm just like,
I remember.
yo, I gotta go to bed.
I remember probably back around the late 90s, early 2000s, a buddy of mine got the hookup from a guy for a little while, and we were getting it wasn't it looked kind of like it was just going to be junk, and it was this awesome pot. It was just awesome. And it was a good sativa. Like, my yard never looked better than that year. Like, I'd go out to the shed, I'd 2 hits on the joint, and I'd fuck out the grass, I'd trim the bushes, I'd make sure the flowers looked perfect. It was great. But, such is life. Things change.
not to get we're running kind of short on time for this block, but one of the things I had loaded up in the monologue that I was going to do was in my new gig, just to shift gears a little bit. This new gig that I got, I wanted to tell you my 3 favorite things that I've heard a customer say to me while at my new job. Now, I don't often answer the phone. Like, the phone's not a big part of the communication, like emails, text messages, things like that. But I have to answer the phone. And so far, these are my 3 favorite things I've heard. The first one: how come I can only get in touch with Bill between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m.? And my answer to that was, oh, wow, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.? Let me write that down. I can get in touch with Bill. Meanwhile, he's in the office right next to me. I can like look at him. You know what I mean? But it's still like this guy's complaining he can't talk. There's no reason to talk to Bill. That's why you can't get a hold of him, right? And
or talk to Bill? I mean, do you want to?
So wait, you're calling to choose to talk to Bill? My second
day.
Yo, he's so funny.
My second favorite thing I heard this week. This is this week. It's Wednesday. My second favorite thing I heard this week was, "Oh wow, you answered the phone? This place is a clusterfuck." And my absolute favorite thing that I heard this week: "If I had to deal with you people every day, I would kill myself."
Talk to you tomorrow.
How did you respond to that one?
That's what I should have said. I said, "I'll call you tomorrow. Don't worry."
So, well, that brings me to our next story, because this guy probably has 3 favorite things that he's heard about. Athlete loses a race in Colombia after his penis came out of his shorts in the middle of a run.
Oh no, I hate when that happens.
Well, yours was in your pocket. You shouldn't do that.
In an unfortunate turn of events, an athlete lost a 400-meter race at the 2022 World Athletics U20 Championships due to a wardrobe malfunction. 18-year-old Alberto Nonino, who hails from Italy, was competing in the 400-meter of the decathlon in Cali, Colombia, when the incident took place. Alberto Nonino started off extremely well by gaining pace against his competitors, leaving the bystanders under the impression that he might win the race with quite a bit of ease. However, after Nonino passed the middle lane, he looked uncomfortable and kept reaching down to hold his crotch. at least a couple of times. Not know what went wrong, but Nonino's pace decreased a tad bit, allowing his competitors to overtake him. The athlete unfortunately finished last with a time record of 51.57 seconds.
The chafe is real with that guy.
As per the story here by Lad Bible, sports journalist David Sanchez de Castro reported that Alberto Nonino's penis kept falling out of his shorts.
How does
The
that
incident
even
did not
happen?
allow him to run properly during the race.
Was he not wearing the proper underwear?
The 18-year-old athlete did try to tackle the issue, but nothing worked in his favor at the moment. As reported by the portal, Alberto Nonino took to Instagram after the match to open up about the unfortunate incident. The 18-year-old said he is aware that the incident has created a buzz on social media, but he requested netizens stop sending him links to blogs and posts about it, as it was an accident.
I just want the pictures. Do we have pictures of his dick coming out of his pants?
I just want to talk to you a little bit about the rumpus between the blog. Anyway, I believe there's a little bit of video that turned up on Twitter, so let's take a look at that.
Oh, Twitter's
if
good
it's
for
on
people.
Twitter, we're gonna see it.
Okay, so there's my screen, and let's see here.
Seem awfully eager to see a dick.
You're just upset that you can't see it. That's all. You're driving. He was pulling him forward. You know, the chafing made him lose the hard on.
In lane 8.
And
I
then
don't understand. Was he not wearing underwear or something? Like, how do you not have it
to break
tightened up in there? Oh, great shot.
So,
did we lose the phone?
I'm
You
not
should
much.
have wore like
I
boxer
think we did.
briefs. Keep it in there.
I'm not much of a runner, but I'm here to tell you,
He's
As
not
lo-
wearing any underwear.
as long
There's
as
no
the
way.
lining in those little skimpy running shorts wasn't cutting the end of my dick off, I'd have been running with my dick flapping all over the place trying to win that fucking race.
I mean, it's terrible on your knees, but
Wow.
you can make it work.
I mean, I'm telling you, what would have and he won by a cock.
I mean, not for nothing, but I think Big Daddy would have probably knocked himself unconscious in that race. With his dick flying out.
Whereas Maddie would not have been able to win by a cock.
No, I would not have had the forward momentum that Italian or Big Daddy would have. Oh,
Let's and lastly, this story I put in particularly for Big Daddy. It's one of those professional stories that I do for him from time to time. Psych nurse fired after reporting patients blowing each other and hitting the staff. I got patients blowing each other, a nurse told her supervisor. A week later, she was fired from the hospital for profane language. In the
they
afternoon,
were the ones blowing each other. I mean, it's not like I got people up here blowing each other and they were playing checkers. Right? She said, I got people up here blowing each other. And well, first of all, you should have just started taking video. Right?
on the afternoon of July, Episcopal Hospital in Philadelphia, chaos reigned.
This was an Episcopal?
Yeah, this is at Temple Episcopal.
Have you ever been to Episcopal?
No.
Oh my God. It is the third circle of hell.
Okay.
It is one of the worst fucking hospitals on the face of the fucking earth.
Well, they have a mental ward, so that
They would have to, because that's all there is drug addicts.
I mean, but the oral sex is fantastic.
Yeah, you can get some good head.
So patients in a psychiatric ward at the hospital were fighting each other. More patients were being admitted. Another was attempting to escape, and other patients, including people whose ability to give consent was questionable, were engaging in sexual intercourse with one another. Things were getting to the point of no return. Mallory, a nurse who was hit in the face during what she described as a melee
With cum. She was hit in the face with cum.
told Vice News.
Oh, God.
There were only a couple of us. We needed help. Frustrated, Mallory called a supervisor and pleaded for help. It's absolutely nuts up here, Mallory, whose last name has been omitted to protect her privacy, recalled telling the supervisor. I got patients blowing each other. They're fighting. They're hitting me. I need help right now. What happened after this conversation was, according to Mallory, laughable. By the end of the following week, she'd be out of a job.
That's ridiculous.
Eventually that day, the nurses got the situation under control, but Mallory was later told she'd been reported for using profane language in her conversation with the supervisor. As unbeknownst to her, a manager had been listening on the conversation.
Then the manager should have been fucking doing something.
I know, like, what the you're just wasting your time just listening in instead of fucking stepping in like you're supposed to.
The fact that the manager is more concerned with the way I spoke instead of my actual message, that we were in dire need of assistance and perilously close to multiple reportable incidents, speaks volumes on her priorities.
Fuck that bitch.
Mallory also reported the manager for allegedly ordering her and other nurses and mental health technicians to keep the patient who'd hit Mallory in restraints until morning, no matter what. As Mallory recounted in a director of nursing. Reached by phone, the manager told Vice News Mallory was not in her unit, though Mallory complained about orders the manager had given her in statements following her suspension, including to restrain the patient, which Mallory called a violation of basic human rights. The manager said she otherwise couldn't comment and referred Vice News' questions to the hospital's risk management department. As mental health professionals and nurses who are interested in keeping our licenses, we did not follow this directive, Mallory said in her letter. The patient was let out of the restraints and the moment she demonstrated safe behavior, as is the standard. The restraints.
So was this nurse terminated because she said blowing, or was this nurse terminated because she ordered a patient to be restrained overnight?
No,
yeah, that's what I'm confused about.
She was ordered
now.
to restrain the patient overnight.
Oh,
The nurse did not order the restraint, or nurses cannot order restraints.
Okay.
She was fired because
I misunderstood.
Yeah, the
because
nurse.
what?
The nurse was fired because she used the word blowing. The order to restrain would have to come from a doctor.
So,
but what if you just had a couple dudes going?
Ultimately, Mallory was suspended on July 29th and then fired on Friday, August the 5th. In her termination letter, the hospital accused her of using profane language and taking too long of a break, which the hospital said constituted gross neglect of duty, while her language was considered behavior unbecoming of a Temple University health employee.
What? Have you ever seen a Temple University health employee? Word blowing would probably be the most becoming thing about a Temple University hospital employee.
You took a 1 hour and 25-minute meal period, which exceeds the amount of time authorized for your meal break, stated her termination letter. Upon returning to the unit, you called the nursing supervisor and you were heard using profane language in describing the current state of the unit. The nurses union contract mandates that workers on 12-hour shifts are supposed to be given 75 minutes of breaks total, and the hospital had accused her of being gone for 85 minutes, 10 minutes too long.
Oh my God.
Mallory also says she was performing work duties during the break, including making sure patients had food trays and proper clothing. I was 10 minutes late, and I wasn't really late because I was doing patient things. Mallory said.
I was doing patient things. You can't fire me for that.
She also said she'd never been written up in the year she's worked at the hospital prior, and the termination letter that was obtained by Vice News also noted no record of discipline prior to her firing. I'd
like to dig into this though.
Yeah.
If both parties were of whether it was questionable if both parties were able to give consent, and they were blowing each other, which means it was two dudes blowing each other. Is consent that big of a problem? Like if you just got two dudes that can't say yes, blowing each other.
Because if you are not considered to be in a right state of mind, then you are not considered able to give consent.
Right.
Right, but either is the other person.
Correct. So there's a gray area here where you're not supposed to
Allow that to happen.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you've
No
got two people that
sexy
are happy
time.
with dicks in their mouths.
Yeah. When like if you're dealing with a couple of non-verbal autistic,
Yeah, that's
in that type of facility, there is not supposed to be any sexual contact of any sort because there is no consent.
but what? All right, so what was the nurse supposed to do?
Well, in that case, you're supposed to prevent it before it happens. And then if you walk in on it happening, you can't really you can't physically pull one off of another.
I think that's the question. I'm like, that's where I'm like, what do you do at that point? Because if you've got two people blowing each other and you go and take one off, or even if they're hugging, let's take the bullshit out. If you got two people hugging, you go pull one off. That's assault. I mean, I don't know, in the real world,
Look, if you pull one off, that's a whole different kind of assault because I'm pretty sure you're supposed to keep your pants zipped the fuck up while you're a nurse.
the hands and the whole body.
This will be a good time.
Yeah, so here's my thought, if I may. So
Yeah.
she had taken an 85-minute break. She's entitled to 75 minutes across her 12-hour shift.
Yes.
Those 75 minutes are supposed to be broken up into maybe 2 15-minute breaks and a 45-minute lunch.
Probably.
Right? I'm guessing. And in that case, she's probably not supposed to take that time altogether. So
Probably
she
not.
wasn't there to prevent it in the first place, and she came back to find it. Now, I don't know who else was staffed on that ward or in that area, but this could be actually a legitimate case of neglect of duty.
But you're assuming that those two incidents happened the same day, and I don't think they did.
Oh, I got the impression that they had. But
I did too. Just not to side with the doc, but I did too. It was like it was almost like if she hadn't. I think they were trying to say like if she hadn't had taken the long lunch break, then this wouldn't have happened. She would have been able to prevent it from getting to that.
Also, I don't think people get fired for isolated incidents in general.
That's why I'm saying it wasn't. I don't think it was the same day. I think we're looking at two different incidences.
No, what I'm saying is it might have happened on the same day, but there may have been some. Although there was not a record of reprimands, there may not have been a paper trail, but she may not have been a very good nurse to begin with.
And
also true.
Honestly, they may have been trying to teach her to use the word fellatio for a long time, and they're like, "Look, you can't say blowing.
You can't be on blowing over the intercom."
So since the question came up, what do you do if you walk in on people in the act? That actually happened to me. I walked in. So I had a male patient whose delusion was that he was coming home from the war to his wife, and a female patient whose delusion was that she was waiting for her husband to come back from the war.
It seems like a perfect fit.
Couple.
So what happened was he wandered into her room. So me checking in on everyone's room, and they have both passed at this point a couple of years ago. So
but not at the time of the story.
But not at the time of the story.
Okay.
So
well, that's good.
I walk in the room and I see him standing with his back to me, staring out the window. And so I called his name, and then I hear a pop noise and her head pop out from the side of his waist. And that's when I realized what was happening.
That her husband was home from the war.
And she was greeting him as his loving wife was greeting him as a job well done, a beautiful, faithful soldier. And so I said, hey, you guys want some dessert cups? And that broke it up.
And did they in fact want dessert cups?
They did in fact want dessert cups.
I mean, I can see that.
God.
That must have been the shittiest blowjob. If you're like, "Hey, you want a dessert cup?" He's like, "Oh yeah, fuck."
Oh my God.
But here, look, let me put this question to you, Big Daddy, real quick. Like, what if you had just returned back from lunch and you saw that? What if would you remember to clock back in? Would you go, oh, hang on, could you guys just chill out? Just hang on. Let me go clock back in before I stop you guys from blowing each other.
No, I probably would not have clocked out or back,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what happened is this woman came back. She came back on time. She caught these dudes blowing each other.
I mean, if I
She forgot to clock back in.
Yeah, they did say she wasn't in her unit, but it's like she's a nurse and she sees something, she's supposed to do something.
That is correct. See something, do something. But just thinking about it from the guy's perspective, you got blown and dessert. That's that's a good day. That's a good day.
Well, that's probably
That's the A block.
That's probably
that's going to be the A block.
Yeah.
I had a bit of technical difficulty here.
I heard you doing some demolition to the studio there.
Well, the cat grabbed onto my headphone there and took pretty much the electronic brains of the guts of the studio and just yanked it from everything.
Oh, great!
I've been replugging cables and I had to get my connection back together. Yeah, he did a good job on it, but I'm going to have to get that piece of the conversation out of the video this week.
Ooh, that's exciting.
No, it's not. It's maddening, to be perfectly honest, but that's what we do here on the Media Virus Podcast. We have conversations. Sometimes I don't get to hear them all, and I have to go pull them back out of the video. If you want to be part of those conversations that I don't hear, you can call in on 1646-VIRUS01. That's 1646-VIRUS01 to reach us here at the Media Virus Podcast. We're about to head into our B block, and in our B block this week, bear with me, everything on my desk has gone left, right, and sideways. Yes. In our B block, we will have a big fucking announcement. It's going to be our latest big fucking announcement. And if you want to know what that big fucking announcement is, don't watch the stream because you're going to need to tune in on Saturday to catch our B block on the podcast to hear what that big fucking announcement is. Also coming up in the B block, we've got more news and just the tips. I will wave bye to you all right now. We'll be back right after this.
I
wish I could hear the bumpers.